that's the whole point. That's the whole point of me trying to get this going. If you're gonna do it, like do it. Like I mean, it's just get. I mean, what I'm finding out is just get started. That's the main. That's the main thing. If you're gonna do something. Oh, sorry. Ooh. Sorry. Did you hear that?
What's up? No.
Sorry. All right, cool. No, I have some YouTube channels up. I'm trying to close them up real quick so I can get started on this. All right. No, I'm just saying, like, if you're gonna do something, might as well just spread it. I don't know, do a little bit as best quality as possible and what we can afford.
You can say it, man. Just don't half-ass it.
Yeah. Well, the trick is I already half-assed it for a lot of years, and I'm like, you don't get too far doing that, but you'll get far. You take it a little bit more serious. You invest more of yourself into it. But yeah, no, the green screen is I've had that for a while. I've had that for like 4 or 5 years. I've only used it like a handful of times. Now I'm starting to use it a lot more. So without further ado, let's see if I can find where I put this one. I should have had this already ready. Let's see.
No, you're fine, man. Take your time.
I'm trying to be as quick as dandy as possible. Let's see. I'm there. Oh no, that's not that one. This is let's see. Where did I put it? Desktop movies. Where are you at? So I'm gonna do a jump cut here. Where did I put that? I put it under. Oh, that's why I rechanged it. Here we go. There, and without further ado, download, yes. And there we go. Let's see, should be working. Oh, here we go.
Hey.
There you go. So that I did it better. It's kind of crazy.
Right, first, let me see. Is it Ben or Benjamin?
I got Ben. Yeah, you get. I think you should be able to tell. Last time I did it, it's like it does like a mirror thing. So it mirrors like what I'm seeing here. So before I set it up last time, I was like, well, that's too much of a mirror. So I mean, like it's a mirror of a mirror. So I flipped it, thinking it was gonna like flip it or reverse it, and it goes back to normal when you do it. So I was like, okay, then I'll just leave it alone this time, because last time I was trying to be smarter than the thing. Yeah, it doesn't. As we're recording, it doesn't look very clean, but I got it good.
Dude, I think it looks awesome, honestly. Like it that way, I like it a lot too, because I don't know, seeing it in the background really just kind of, it brings up memories, I like it.
It helps us kind of stay on target, I guess.
Yeah.
So so this side by side episode, we chose Harold Ramis. Or Ramis? It's Ramis, right?
I think it's Ramis. Yeah.
Okay, Harold Ramis. Because I was like, like I said, my first language is Spanish, and the first thing I want to see is Ramis. So I'm like,
I'm sure he wouldn't mind. Yeah. Honestly, I think he'd be all right with it.
Yeah. So Harold Ramis, we picked him, and we chose two of his movies that we both like, and we one movie when I went to the theater and saw it, I was like, oh, I'm gonna be in for a good movie, and I got a good movie. Second one, I didn't know I was gonna get as good of a movie as I went into thinking. So I like that. I like how we picked these two movies that he directed. I believe he wrote both of them. If I'm not mistaken. It was Bedazzled.
I believe so.
Yeah, it was Bedazzled.
I think he definitely wrote year one. But let's see here. Bedazzled, I think. Obviously, they're going to give credit to the other writers because it is a remake.
That's true.
Yeah, so based on, let's see here. Yeah, he did have a part in the screenplay. Larry Gelbart is another one, and Peter Tolan, neither of who look familiar. The original writers were Peter Cook and Dudley Moore.
Yeah, so he did the screenplay for this adaptation.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So
and let me check year one, but I'm 90% sure.
No, yeah, he did. He wrote. I did check that one. He did write year one.
Because I mean, that just it has that feel to it, like it's very, very his movie, and almost if I'm gonna say it, it almost had like a Mel Brooks feel to it, at sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I really kind of felt that that kind of humor coming through these roles.
Oh yeah, definitely. I get you. Like, I felt like between those two movies, because they're almost 10 years apart. Or no, they're pretty.
Yeah, yeah. This was year one was 2009. Bedazzled was 2000.
Yeah. Sorry. So they're like close to like 10 years apart. So I think for like excuse me, sorry, I'm gonna take a little break.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I got phlegm or something. Cleared
Well,
my
you don't
throat.
have it anymore, right? You're
Nah,
good.
hopefully. No, I get nervous and I start dry heaving a little bit. So I'm gonna get that out of my system. Yeah, it's something I do even when I play basketball. It's funny, like right before the game goes or when I get on stage, I dry heave and um or it's a nervous thing. They call it passion. I just call it like nerves. But like it's crazy. Like right before I get on stage or right before the basketball goes up, I have all these nerves. But right when I get on stage or right when the basketball gets tipped off, it like goes away. But right
Yeah.
before, I'm like, it's weird. I get like a nervous thing. So right now, I get a little, so I'm cough a little bit, but it's like kind of a little dry heaving. I'm trying to drink as much water. But here, to go back to the task at hand. So I mean, I was looking at the movies we chose, and they're more of Tom the later of his career. But, he wrote Caddyshack, Stripes, Meatballs, and those are all great movies.
Yeah.
He had his hand in with Ghostbusters, and he had we could have chosen a lot, but I kind of think the reason we chose these is one. I like Bedazzled because I was when I was watching it, I was like, whoa, like I really like this movie.
Yeah.
This was definitely in my top 10, I think. And so when I was watching it, the reason I could say that because I recently, I think I saw it like 2 months ago. I saw it like twice. So it's like the third time I've seen it, like in maybe like 2 or 3 months. So
Yeah.
it is one of those movies that when I went to go watch at the theater, I really enjoyed. I liked also it's in San Francisco. I tend to like those movies. They just kind of have like a
Mhm.
nice little feel to them. But the Elizabeth Hurley, the introduction of her at the bar, that I was like, all right, yeah. And it's kind of as you get older. When I was, it was 99 or 2000 when 2000 when that movie came out, and I was in high school, so you just watch the movie and that's it. But as I'm older and I watch it again, and I see like just the way things are, the bar life and everything, and you're like, oh yeah, this is cool. And the Elliot Richards character, the Brandon Fraser guy, like he is like a love struck, not like an idiot, just he's just wet behind the ears. He's very
Yes.
green. He's very innocent in a way, but
Mhm.
like where the world and the realities of everything is like kind of like darker, a little bit more real. And then when he's in his and they're not even like daydreams. They're like just little, not even fantasies. They're realities that are altered. And it's one of those don't always like ask. Be careful what you wish for because you might get it. And this is definitely
Yeah.
that kind of story. The movie itself is amazing, just from like the production value, the behind the scenes stuff you get to hear about it. The acting, the directing is fun. I like a lot of the characters that Brandon Fraser plays. This is also like we spun off from the Nutty Professor and Norbit. Now we're seeing another character, Brandon Fraser playing multiple characters. He plays a sensitive guy. He plays the drug lord. The drug lord is that I like that. They put a lot of time into that one. He even plays Abe Lincoln. Like I want to be a
Yeah.
noble guy. It is like
Yeah.
anything the devil can do. Elizabeth Hurley, anything she can do, she'll just screw up his plans. But it definitely one of those good heart feeling movies that's like the grass isn't always greener on the other side, and sometimes the answers you're looking for is right in front of your face. You don't have to try too hard to be who you really are. You be accepted. It's just like a lot of heartwarming stories, all in one. The personality changes that Brandon Fraser does are amazing. I mean, even the sophisticated suave guy
Yeah.
turns out to have turns out to be gay. So like
Yeah.
everything, he can never be perfect. But that's what I like. I like that like he tries so hard. I do see some similarities in the movies. I can get the little feels. I think there's a big difference though from year one and Bedazzled, where Bedazzled it definitely has more of the family feel to it.
Yeah.
Like it's a definitely a heartwarming film. Where year one, it to me feels like his earlier work. I feel like it's more of his meatballs, his stripes. he does Caddyshack. I get that. I get that right away in year
Yeah.
one. Um, yeah. What do you think about Bedazzled, or which
Oh
movie?
man, so I I remember watching that whenever it came out. Oh, actually, a lot of movies that I saw back in the day. Direct TV, man. My dad, it was either we grew up on a ranch, so either on Saturdays we were working or we were watching movies. It was one or the other. Either my dad just felt lazy that day and hell, we're gonna watch like two or three pay-per-view movies, or we're gonna be working all day. So I remember Bedazzled. He ordered, and 9 times out of 10, CJ, I would wait till everybody went to bed and then rewatch that movie later
Oh,
at night by
awesome.
myself. Um, right before, because you only get a day's worth of it. So he was like right at the end of the time to watch it. But yeah, no, I remember watching that and was like, okay, there's a lot of fun to this movie. Rewatching it, I really enjoyed it. I liked it a lot. What I think is really cool too is like you said, you get those seven different segments, or actually six because the Big Mac and the Coke. You know,
Yeah.
and you get those different uh it's like you have that little catch, right? Like it's like you said, it's like reality. I mean, it's a warped reality, but it's almost like that's normally how life is going to be hitting you. Like all these things may be great, but what's that one little catch? What's that one little thing that's just kind of turning it all around? I really like this movie. Like I said, I like what it had to say. Um, just like you said earlier, I mean, be careful what you wish for, and that really brings us home. I was looking back on it. And the original Bezazzled was going to be like, well, you had like the seven deadly sins
Yeah.
that came to him and stuff like that. Um, so I thought, like it, I really enjoyed it. I really liked it, man. It was a fun time. You know.
But I think just the quality, the everything about Bedazzled to me, I gotta say I Brandon Fraser is one of my top tier actors. So even just like getting to meet the guy, he's a big guy, he's tall, and then
Mhm.
you get to see the characters he plays. Like he plays the Elliot Richard character, the basketball guy. When he plays him, he plays like he does play like he's a taller 7 foot. Like even the commentator, he's like a like a giant Viking with a mace in one hand and his Coleman in the other hand. I forgot what he says. What words he uses colder, but he says like his mug, and they get it all down. And I think they're just playing with reality at this point. Harold Ramis also says when they does the interview with the basketball player and the sweat that comes out of the character is a mimic
Yeah.
of Shaq. He's making fun of Shaq. He's making fun of like basketball players whenever they're interviewing them. They just played for like 2.5 hours of running nonstop, and you want to get interviewed. So they made fun of that, and I thought that was cool when I saw that on the DVD commentary, and you kind of keep going. You're like, oh, that's funny. But Dazzle to me, I think it's the fact that if you're a person that might have not identity issues, but you have issues with maybe feeling comfortable with yourself, like something like maybe something that you like that maybe someone that you love or someone you care about doesn't like, and you kind of want to be like, well, I kind of still want to be myself. I don't want to conform or mold to everybody. So I like Bedazzled in that aspect, as you get to see who you really are on other people in other shoes. What I'm trying to say, like as you wear other people's shoes, are you really still yourself? You can't be yourself in someone else's shoes. You're other in someone else's shoes. You got to make the shoes yourself, and you even get to see like it's crazy because he goes through this journey and like he doesn't have to go through it. And I think the reason he goes through it at the end, it shows him when he meets I forgot the actress again, but when he meets the love interest at the end, it makes it seem like he appreciates her more. But I think he would appreciate her either way. He just goes through a journey because even when he calls the like in the very beginning when he gets the phone call and he's talking on the phone and he's like, oh, let me see real quick. You order the Wizenbach, whatever it's called, and then he says, oh yeah, that's gonna run a little bit this. Like he knows his stuff, like he's real into it. And then he catches the other guy at the vending machine and he shows him all the, so he knows he's like into his tech, he's into his technology, he really likes that stuff. And then when at the very end when you meet the other girl, not Alice, but I think her name was Carly or something like that, the other character she plays when he meets
Yeah.
her, she's a nerd too, and then like, oh, they hit it off. So it's like he gets, and it's kind of crazy because she kind of looks, I mean, in their reality, she kind of looks like the same girl, even though it is the same girl, but it's not her, but it's a different version of her, but it's the more suited for him. So it's kind of a love story. It's kind of a growth story. It's kind of be figure out who you are. But like I think you do have to go through that phase of life where it's just a little bit of it's going to be rough. And how do you handle it? And whenever you think you have the keys to something, I really do like the club scene. The club scene. I mean I was a like a bar kid, so whenever you see that and then I go through that, you're like, man, that is true. Like people do that. Like, hey, someone take a picture with me. Like you don't even know this guy. Like it's like you're that cool that somebody wants to take a picture. Like, oh yeah, like that guy doesn't even know you, but it's so like cheesy. And especially then and Hollywood and probably the late 90s and the 2000. And I mean they've been there since the 80s and maybe the 70s, so they got to see a lot of the same thing repeat itself. So it does look kind of to me like that club scene kind of does look funny, where it's just like these taste like the cookies my grandmother used to make. These are the cookies my grandmother used to make. Like all the stuff that the devil is trying to do to get him to feel comfortable. And it's also that look how much work the devil has to do.
Yeah.
And he's not even a picky guy. He's so super simple. But also this movie helps me understand decision making.
Mm.
When you make a decision, you got to be more precise and decisive because of the word's decision. But you have to know exactly like this is what I want to do. He kind of just vaguely says what he wants, and she could do whatever she wants with it. So if he was more like if he really was like more on it, or he had more of a decision making because ability, he would be better at that. But even look at his decision making and the girl he loves at his work, never talks to, his friends that he tries to hang out with. He's not a good decision maker, And
Yeah.
then this helps him. Wow, I like that's what I like. I never thought about this till now as I'm talking about it, because I what I do is I'll watch the movies, and then I'll right before I talk to you I'll watch the clips of them just to get them fresh in
Mhm.
my head. And I just remember seeing that part where like they're essentially like the a-holes of his work, and he wants to hang out with him, and he's like this
Yeah.
sweetheart guy. So it's kind of like there's something there that he just kind of wants to be friends. He kind of wants to hang out. They kind of crap on him, and he kind of goes through this thing. Now with year one, I got like I said, when I went to go watch that movie based on Jack Black. Michael Cera has grown on me over the years, but at that time I wasn't like a huge Michael Cera fan. So I was
Mhm.
like, oh, okay, I'll watch, but Jack Black for sure has got me. I'm gonna watch this. And then when I saw that Harold Ramis was directing, I was like, oh, okay, this is a great movie. While I was sitting down in the theater, not really seeing any of the previews, just watching it, and I gotta say, man, that movie it's it's got a lot of actors in it. It's got a lot of cameos. I didn't realize how many
Huh.
cameos it has. It has a lot, and it. I don't know. I don't think you have to be. It's very religious. The movie's based off, the religion period. I mean, well, the beginning parts of where like I hope what is I wouldn't say the Renaissance. I'd say just the beginning, the Bible scriptures time frame from the beginning.
Genesis.
Genesis. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. So
Yeah.
if you know the stories, they're funny. They're really funny. If you get all
Mhm.
the references, like they're really funny. I just every little thing that goes on there from the beginning to the end, and then the way that I like the fact about year one is he was able to take modern mindset and put it back then, and you kind of mix it like you accept it that they kind of know certain
Mhm.
things, and even though they're kind of idiots, but they're kind of smart. They're still primitive. He's like when Jack Black is just go over there and just hit her on the head, just give her, and she takes he hits her, and he hits her all soft, or like he hits her, and she gets mad and takes the stick and hits him with it. So it's all, and that's another thing I did like about that. There's a lot of role reversals there, where the woman tends to step up for like the
Yeah.
guy. I
Right.
like that.
Well,
Um,
one thing that I kind of forgot, man, just kind of made me laugh was whenever they were talking about, hey, you wouldn't mind if I laid with your sister? And he's
oh
like,
yeah.
and then they get to talking about something. He's like, yeah, it's like laying with your mother. Oh, you think that's not going to be awkward? And they just blow past it like so
Yes.
fast. Like it doesn't taint the movie in any way, because sometimes you hear something like, ugh. But yeah, no, I thought that was so damn funny. Bill Hader, man, as the
Yes.
witch
Yes.
doctor, that was probably one of my favorite cameos that I didn't realize at first. You know, uh, yeah, man, I really enjoyed that little conversation with him. And then whenever that hut's on fire and he thinks it's his, and then just like dead face, just like, oh, that's not mine. Never mind.
Yeah, but that's what
Just loved it. uh,
The Bill Hader
but yeah,
character, I had to get him on the second go around. I saw it and I was like, okay, I didn't get that because I didn't understand it. But then I saw him when I saw it the second time I saw the movie, and I was like, wait. And the thing I like about his character is it's kind of him, and
yeah,
he's known for playing characters. He's known for having being a great voice actor. He's known for just being an actor. I mean, he's on the show Barry, which is his show about being an actor,
oh,
but
that's a great
that's a
show.
good show. And then what do you call it? But there it's just his voice, but he's dressed up like a voodoo doctor. So that's the funny part about it because he's
Yeah.
dressed like he's not. He's just himself.
You know what I didn't even think about until just right now? What happened to him, man? What happened to him? Everybody else seemed to get made. I mean, they were taken as slaves. Where's he at?
Oh,
I
that
figured
guy, that
that would
that
have been that would have been
kid.
cool to see him later
Yeah,
on. Yeah,
yeah, they bring him
maybe they
back.
just thought he was too crazy, a
Yeah, I
little too
mean,
crazy.
you're right. They did take Horatio Sands is in it, and
Yep.
he doesn't have like any lines. I don't think he has maybe one line. He doesn't have, but he's in it, and it's just like the fact that you see like I guess a recognizable face, and
Yeah.
you get to see him in it. And he's always like oh, he's just always in it. I like that. Oh man, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the Oliver Platt.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
He dominates that movie. Like the second half of that movie is just like, oh man, what was it that he said was spectacular? I can't remember. He was just like, just I can't. I watched it last night, but man alive, I loved him in that movie. You know, um, what was
dude,
it? Whenever he's doing the entrails, he's like, and you can see that his rectum's been pulverized, which isn't too, isn't too unfamiliar in these parts or whatever he says. But I mean, he plays it off so well, man.
man,
Um,
I wish I didn't. I will apologize. I didn't take a whole lot of notes on this one because I just kept
I didn't either. I wrote down stuff right before we got on just to kind of because like I said, we were gonna hit on conspiracies this time. So I just like in my head I just kind of kept in the back of my mind like, okay, this is possibly a theory that could have gone here for each movie and then wrote them down like right before we got on.
yeah. I mean, hey, we're watching and we're going. I think
Which I
the
have two that I think are pretty good.
for the, for this movie.
Yes, for well yeah, I can tell you what I have for year one.
All right, go for it.
All right. Okay. I think Z and O are related to Adam. All right. I think that they are not necessarily offspring, but possibly he's older. He's Harold Ramis in the movie.
Okay.
So and the reason I say that, I mean, look at their vicinity to the Garden of Eden. I mean, it's like they just walk around the corner and the tree of knowledge is right there. You
Well,
know?
they have the whole rules. That's what the whole thing everyone abides by. So
Yeah.
up until that point, that they no one else did that. They're the ones that or Jack Black's the character that did it. Um, they're direct descendants of Adam from Adam and Eve. I can see that. I can
Yeah.
believe. Yeah, I could totally see that. Like they're, I could see them being like direct descendants. That's the first to want to venture off, like one of the kin
Yeah.
that's finally like, I want to do something different. I can see that. Yeah, I can see how we were able to get around. I mean, they show you all the way the market, the trade,
Uh-huh.
slavery. It's like, so what you got
Yeah.
going? Nothing. I'm a slave. like, like that. Like, it's
Yeah.
oh, it's like I could see that. What's your other theory? What you get out of that?
So my oh sorry. I have one for each.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I'll just go ahead and tell you. My theory for Bedazzled is Elliot is dead. Um and he's going through all of this stuff. The reason being, whenever I was watching it, I had the subtitles on, and the devil said she has like domain over LA, purgatory, and hell, and like those are the three places that she goes over. So I think he's dead. I think he's in purgatory. I think that's
Yeah.
what's going on there, because it was set in San Francisco, not LA, right?
Yeah.
So she doesn't have domain over San Francisco. Um, so that's what I think is going on there, and I think that he's just like he's getting tested. I was going to go back to what you said earlier about, how she was able to, he was so vague with his stuff. And it kind of goes back to him being really naive too, because he has to sign this contract. It's like, big stack of papers, and to think that you can do all that, and then you think, oh well, I can just, it's all tied up. I can just wish whatever I want and not have to be crazy specific. I think that's kind of I didn't even think about that until you mentioned that. Just like how much he had to sign. Like it's this big book that almost crushes his manhood. And
Yeah.
so you think he would take a little bit more consideration, but I mean, it's man, I don't know. It's crazy just to think about, like, what if we were in that position? Like if you could sell your soul and get like you can get the perfect life. What if he had found the perfect life in one of those?
Like, what if you actually like
Well,
survived the fall from the narco drop and he's
yeah,
a
yeah.
regular dude in Mexico? I'll be honest with you. I don't really do. It's not that I don't really do it, but I was just like I wasn't going into the whole fan theory when I watched. I told you maybe we talked about it and I forgot, but now that you're talking about Bedazzled, that really makes a lot more sense to me. That really makes a
And
lot
all
more
those
sense.
people that and just like whizzing past him while he's holding the door, like all those people are in purgatory with him, or you know, I don't know. Like I think that maybe all those people he's working with are just like a bunch of assholes that are in hell, and like that's their
Yeah.
punishment. You know, like, oh, we got this guy over here, and like that's hell is talking to Elliot, even though he's trying to genuinely be nice. Like even the first, even before like he meets the devil, like it's almost a little too much. You know, Elliot's almost a little too much, I think, for even the viewer, man. Like he's just like trying too hard. Like just it's like a cringeworthy moment almost in that first whenever you first meet him. And but once, like you said, it's a growth movie, and I really like movies like that, just because like there's a story to tell, there's a point to get across, and I it's fun going on those journeys. I enjoy that.
I will say, like, I totally like that theory you just brought up about him being dead, because he says, I think he says, I wish, or I give my soul to be with that girl, I
Yeah.
think that's what happens. He says the word soul, and I think the devil just happens to be hanging around in
Mhm.
hell or purgatory, and she happens to hear him, and she's like, "Oh, someone's willing to give their soul up. I will take a soul. That's my thing." So this is maybe I don't want to go too deep into. See, this is why I guess I don't like doing too much of this, but because I'll go. I mean, I want to do this. This is what I want to do. I want to do fan theory, but I
Yeah.
go too far. So my whole concept, I have a concept of what a soul is, and I think this movie kind of helps me understand it a little bit better. I and this is just my opinion, my sharing it, but I think the soul is your brain, as you're a person, right? You have your brain, your heart, and the body. So what I've learned as I've gotten older is you have to take care of your brain, you have to take care of your heart, and you got to take care of your body. So your emotions, your thoughts, and then the physical presence of being here. If you don't take care of one of those three, I feel like they kind of attach to themselves, and I feel like the decision making itself is like you are the soul. You are telling the brain to do something, and the body is doing something, and the heart. They're kind of their own thing, and they can be mushed up as one, or they can be all divided. So I feel like when you're in Elliot's world, where they're all crushed in as one, that someone could come and take your soul, and that's basically also transference to work. So when you have someone says, "I have a soul crushing job," because sometimes the job isn't very fulfilling, and then sometimes you have to be there, and sometimes they could hurt you, and then you're not thinking, and then sometimes you don't have a passion for the job. And I feel that you can also be like an Elliot person, where he just kind of like he doesn't really make a decision. Like he has growth, and that's what I'm saying. At the end of the movie, he's not changed 100%. He just has more of an awareness now. So
Mhm.
now he has more of a like, I may still be in purgatory, or I still may be in this what some like a hell, but it's not gonna bother me. I've accepted it, and I think that's what his soul is. I think he had to get the tricks played on him. He had to get the physical thing, the small winky. He had to go with it, like his body, his heart being played with his emotions. So as you're talking about this, I'm starting to see more and more of my idea. Like, wow, that is true. The theory that you're really like, hey, like it's up to you to create what you want to do, and if you don't, you can just float there, and this is what's going to happen. And one day you're gonna you're gonna get offered, it's like you said, something offered to you that you never thought that somebody wanted. And then he starts to really understand, like, why do you want my soul? Why do you really like trying to take it? And it really starts to make him think. And you know, because the task that he doesn't learn until it's over. It's not one of those stories or those theories, or I mean those stories where he gets pushed back and he goes over adversity. No, he goes to crap and he gets pulled out. He
Yeah.
turns to crap, he gets pulled out. So it's basically he's just burning up his wishes. So for him, like it's more of a, hey, you have those seven. Even from the first one, he should have already kind of already known that first wish was just so much crap, that the Big Mac. And it's funny too because when I remember watching that as a kid, he got the Big Mac and the Coke, and I remember being like, "You didn't even get fries," and then he says, I didn't even get fries."
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was like, dude, he spent was like $3 for that freaking meal. I was like, in San Francisco back then, that's ridiculous. In 2000, that's cheap. That meal nowadays is like $18. But
Oh my God.
but I think that's what it is. I think it's his soul that he's not protecting. I feel like the first trick is just kind of like, be careful what you wish for. He got everything he wanted, and it all turned on him. So then he had to be a little
Mhm.
bit more smarter, and then it's even true. Like even as he does get smarter, he has a physical attribute, and then I mean he gets physically big, small, and then smaller. But then even when he's finally perfect, he's not perfect because, or in his world, because he's not in love with women, he's in love with men. So it's
Mhm.
always a lot of him trying to like, okay, let me make better decisions, or let me see how I can do this. It's really just like, to me, it's like you're walking and you get picked up by a tornado and you get spun around 1,000 times and you get put back in the same spot and you're walking again. You're like, well, I just experienced something. I don't know if I'm gonna need any of this, but okay. But I think it helped them out. I think as a character, you know, because all those other characters, like the Orlando Bloom characters, they're all like they're just they're just there. I'm sorry, did I say Orlando Bloom? Orlando Jones, sorry.
Yeah,
Um,
no, you're fine.
those characters, like they're there, that they're just kind of like, they don't really change. They're exactly the same way. I mean, even when they're his henchmen, they change. Copies, dobles, all right, copies. Like they make doubles, you know. Like, and
Yeah.
we had to make this is so hot. We had to make doubles. Like they're not even good henchmen. They're not even good friends. They're not good, you know. So it shows you. It's showing you that, hey, man, you got to really like you gotta be a little bit smarter. And that's what I really got from this movie. I like that purgatory. Like, I think you're right. I think it's either you're gonna go to heaven, because even like God's in it, you know. And
Yeah. And I didn't mean to
yeah, yeah,
interrupt
go
you
for it,
there,
go
but
for it.
I really liked what he said about, he was like, oh, she's telling me I can sell my soul, and he's like, what makes you think that it's yours? You know?
Yeah,
Like I forgot that, and and I was like, oh, that's an interesting way, just to kind of take that. Is like, how can you sell something that's not yours, or something that was, I don't know. That whole little scene really just kind of was like, huh, I that's an interesting way to look at it, you know. Uh, but go on, sorry, go for it.
no, I just about that movie. Like, the more we talk about it, the more I appreciate it. The more I'm like really, really like, I'm like, this is just a great movie. I'm happy that I saw it when I
It
was
really
younger.
is.
And yeah, and I'm happy I saw it when I was younger, and I'm happy I see it all the time. I still want, it is one of my top 10 movies. I haven't done my list yet because I'm slowly doing it, but I know this one will definitely be like at least 6 or 7. I think when it's all, right now. But with Year One, the story I got behind that, and so it's the same director, so we're seeing the same eyes, but just different journey. It's when you're from a small town, like it makes a perspective way like your surroundings are and how you're kind of attached to them, but you want to go venture off. Jack Black doesn't get smarter. All he does is get theory in his head, and he just gets questions. You can ask like any question on any question on any question, and you keep feeling like it's some kind of like in your brain, and that is getting smarter, but really it's just you're just questioning things. You'll get an answer, but you'll have to find it on your own. And I like the combination though, because the Michael Cera and Jack Black, like, he doesn't necessarily mean that he's bigger than Michael Cera, but doesn't mean he's buff. Doesn't mean he can protect
Yeah.
them, but that's the role he has to play because that's what he is. And the other guy's a gatherer. He's like, I have to pick all the, there's just little comments there. You don't have to pick all the shit out of the berries. Like, this is stuff like that. Like, just like his little smartassness. And then you see his character. And actually, I don't see any Jack Black's character development at all, really, other than just going forward. You see a,
I well, okay, maybe you're right there, but what was funny is when you mentioned that, like, his character always kind of falls into, I wouldn't even say power, but he just like falls upwards. It's
Oh,
like
that's true.
he's not trying to get anywhere, but he gets to talking to the princess of, uh Sodom. She wants to see him, like, he, whatever it is, that maybe he is the chosen one or something, I don't know, but he just like, he falls into those predicaments, and he's able to get out of them because he's too stupid to realize what he has.
Yeah.
You know, um, I guess, to put it kind of bluntly, but yeah, man. Like, even whenever he was a slave for the second time, um, building the buildings and everything, like,
He's incomplete.
he's still, yeah, man. Like, he doesn't. It's almost like the commentary on his character is like, if you don't think about it too much, really, you'll just eventually stumble into something that's,
Yeah.
you'll stumble your way into it, which, I mean, so far in life experience, it's kind of the truth.
Yeah.
Like,
I
yeah,
like the end that the O's character at the end, you get over here, you out of the way, and then even his buddy wasn't it Abraham is was no son of Abraham is hitting on
Isaac,
Isaac. There you go. Isaac's hitting
I'll kill
on
you where you stand.
yeah. I think I'll kill you where you stand. Like I'll kill you where you stand. He used that same line like you
Oh,
know.
whoa, whoa.
Oh yeah, it's crazy how it shows you how like he's not intimidated by that guy, and that guy uses that line on him, and he goes back on the other guy on Isaac, and he's like, "No, I'm not. I ain't scared of you. I'll kill you where you stand." But even Abraham, like, just the way they do the dialogue when they're back when they catch him, he's about to kill his son, and he talks about the circumcision. Like he's just like it's like yeah, we're gonna show them like that's why they did it. Like the theory, like see now that's a funny theory, like how they got the circumcision. Like it's just cool, it's sleek. Like the words he
Yeah,
uses,
yeah.
it's sleek. Like he's just like
He's
it's the
like,
thing to do.
well, my favorite line from Jack Black. He's like, well, what if the tip is my favorite part?
Oh
And he's
yeah,
like, the tip is your only part. Like,
yeah, yeah.
just those, those lines,
Oh,
dude. Like, oh
dude.
man,
I also
yeah.
liked where the beginning where he throws the spear and it hits Horatio Signs in the back, and then the big guy Morlock gets it and breaks it. He goes, "Oh, thanks, two spears." Like he's just like, "Oh, two spears," and then they he goes and shows and he goes, "Oh, you got your stick got shorter." He goes, "Oh no, I snub nosed it like it's a shotgun
Yeah.
like a snub nose like it's just like you know what? I'll tell you this. He doesn't need much of a character development because you're right. He has like my glass is full. I'm just gonna keep going forward. I'm gonna keep going. Where
Yeah.
where the other guy, he's gonna think about it and ponder and maybe move, maybe not. Where he's like, so you see a huge character development at the end because he needs it. The L character needs it. This guy doesn't. This guy just kind of needs to be around, I guess. But I mean, I really
Yeah.
like.
Oh, sorry. Well, what was it at the end? O's going back to the village, and then Zed is going to Egypt.
That's right.
So, if Harold Ramis wanted to, I mean, I know if he had time to actually do it, maybe year two would have been him like becoming a pharaoh or something like that. Honestly, like, I was almost hoping for year two whenever Harold Ramis was still alive, but I
Yeah.
don't think he passed fairly recently. This was his last uh, acting movie. I
Yeah, I
know
think
that.
in 2016 is when he
Was it 2016?
yeah,
I thought it was earlier than
did I
that.
not? Hold on. I just googled someone else earlier. It might not be 2016. I need to
Oh no, I mean, it was 2014.
14.
So
There you go. Yeah, I was
yeah,
looking.
yeah.
So it's not too far.
Oh,
And that one, I mean, came out of kind of nowhere. I mean, they're just a star-studded cast in this, and they don't really have like a lot of lines. But I mean, Vinnie Jones's character is funny. David Cross's character is funny. Even Paul Rudd's little cameo is funny. You
oh,
know,
David Cross's character is fantastic, man. I
oh my,
mean, he does a great job.
I see. I
That
see.
Sorry,
No,
go
you
for
go
it.
for it. You go. No, you go.
Oh, I was gonna say, man, that whole scene where he's killing Abel, and it's like, what did I do? And you see him moving around a little bit. That's what I was kind of getting at earlier, where it just has like that Mel Brooks feel to it, almost like
Yeah.
it's one of those. Uh, just goofy moments that still makes you laugh. Like no matter how many times you kind of see that kind of thing, like, oh no, what did I do? And you're like, oh, and then you just like go back and finish the job kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, he does it. What did I do? What do I keep continuing doing? It's like, what have I
yeah,
done? What did I do again? What do I keep continuing? He doesn't. He
exactly.
could save his brother. He doesn't. He really. And I feel like he's kind of the atheist of the story in a way. Like he's just kind of.
Yeah,
I like the way they made Sodom like Vegas. Like they made it
yeah,
very, very like just like it's like do whatever you want. And then it shows you from like I mean it's definitely a journey. Like if you're from a small town and you go to a big city, you can feel the growth, and that's kind of the journey what I got. When I was from my small town over here to Austin, you're like, okay, you don't really notice how big it is, but it's a big difference. But I gotta say, I'm looking at the ratings, and oh wait, I wanted to also talk about year one. The part where there's all the little quirks that Michael Cera gets in. He takes off the oil on Oliver Platt's character, and he's later on shows him with the hair on his hands, like
like
just the
is
the
that is
those
that chest hair? Not all of
not all of it,
it.
yeah, like dude, like just stuff like that, and then at the end, like even when Oliver Platt's about to die in the sacrifice, he's like, oh, he would sacrifice me, like he's still turned on, like he's about to die, like he's still going to, like that's just funny. And there's that scene where they're just talking, and he goes, oh, go rub some more oil on me, and he grabs his hand and he just runs with him, like he's a little kid, like I'm like, oh, it just seems so wrong. You there, boy, come over here. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
pour
man.
oil on me.
Well, what is it? I love it when Michael Cera is asking him like about the holies of holies. It's like, what happens if a bug goes in there? He's like, they die
It
instantly.
dies.
Like, so it's just you say nobody goes and cleans it, just full of bugs. Like, they vaporize. It's like he just has an answer
Yeah.
for everything, and it's just like, man, like I like that too. Is like you get like you said, it kind of like it asks questions. It's like these are the people that were asking questions
Exactly.
like back in the day, like that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Like
I mean,
instead
it's
of just like blindly believing.
I mean,
Um,
exactly. And a lot of people, I mean, I don't want to go too deep on it, but nowadays people are getting stuck in the past, like 30, 40 years ago. I'm like, just go back like 100, 200 years ago. Like, go back 400, yeah, go back. Look what they thought, like, in the ADVC. But
yeah,
yeah,
dude.
it's like, damn, imagine, like, you really could, oh, like, the part they're picking the people to throw stones. And that little kid, oh, he's got a good arm. Damn, that kid can throw. Like, it's like,
There's two of us.
yeah. I think I think for the most part, like just like I mean they're putting what way people like society ran like in our faces like as a joke, but there's a lot of darkness to it.
Yeah. Well, and what's funny is like, here, I'll let you get
No,
it.
I'm good. I'm good. I
All
paused
right.
it.
Um, well, the whole like "I'll kill you where you stand" thing, like that's something. Okay, so working at Domino's for a while, man, like you would just like if somebody just like said something or did something kind of off, and as a manager, I'd be like, "I'll kill you where you stand." Like I would use that all the time, man. And like whenever I saw that again, I'd just be like, "All right, yes." Like I almost forgot that's where I got it from. Uh, Also, one thing that Jack Black says that I just think it is always funny every time I hear it. It's like when him and Olivia Wilde are over there at the Holy of Holies.
The
He's
polio pole.
like, yes. Like,
I want to show you the
I
holies of
love it.
holies. Good, because I want you to sit on the polies
The
of polies.
Holy of Holies.
Holies.
Like, oh my God, dude. Like, uh, yeah, Jack Black was definitely like every bit of acting and comedic potential he had in that movie, he exerted. Like, it's Michael Cera too. I mean, like, he just, both of those characters really um, were great. They really were. Like they just embodied everything that you kind of knew about those comedians already, and really just kind of that pushed that limit, and then put them in another era.
Would you call Michael Cera a straight man in this movie?
Yes. Oh, I would.
Definitely.
Sorry, 1 second. I got get down.
Oh
Sorry,
yeah.
my cat was like trying to get food. Um, anyway, yes, no, yeah, I would definitely call. He's almost a straight man, almost in every movie that I've seen him in. Yeah, that's just the role he plays. The only one that I don't remember him being like the straight was in This Is the End. You
Okay,
know,
so
that's the one. Yeah, that's the one that he just plays like a crazy, like he's and they. Yeah, that's
so
the only
that
one I don't remember.
that's the funny thing because I just saw that one too. I posted about that one. Like I've been doing this now. I've been throwing in a movie or because I watch movies with you and I watch movies with Alec and we compare them and I've been throwing in randos in there and I put in This Is the End and the Michael. I totally forgot how like
Yeah,
over the top
doesn't he have like a
extreme.
little mustache too?
Yeah, kind of a little
Like he
bit.
has like,
But it's
yeah,
even just so stupid. He's over the top. He grabs Rihanna's ass. She smacks him. He's getting that like he's getting off in the restroom with those two girls. And
yeah,
it's like it just kind of shows like maybe he really is like this guy. Like maybe that's the real Michael Cera, and then we just get the nice guy on the TV because it's usually someone's opposite. I mean, not all the time, but it could be
yeah.
like that. But with him, I just thought it was funny. And in that movie, This Is the End. God, he's such a prick. And then
Oh
he
man,
even
so
even
much.
and everything's going on. He's like, wait a minute, hey, does anybody see my phone? And then he gets that telephone pole and pells him in the chest, and then it picks him up, and he's like, oh, died. And then he goes, oh wait, my phone was in my back pocket. That was so embarrassing. Like all the shit he did before wasn't embarrassing, but the phone in the back pocket was the thing. That's that's what embarrassed him, not the other stuff he was doing. The fuck he couldn't find his phone.
You know what's funny is I watched Office Space the other night, and Orlando Jones is in that one
Oh
too.
yeah.
And oh man, I that part just oh that movie is fantastic. What's funny, dude, is I used to deliver in that area where that was filmed at. Like I think it's over there by Metric.
Yeah, but
Is
yeah.
where
One of my cousins, his older brother had his. I mean, before I knew that this was back in the '90s. So his brother stayed at that apartment, and I go, the hall are the where'd they get the idea for the walls or what it being thin? He's like, no, those walls are really thin or something like that. I remember him. I remember Leandro telling me, "Ah, dude, they're really thin. You just shell across." I was like, "Oh shit!" But yeah,
that's
because
hilarious.
the scene in the beginning of Office Space, and we could do this too with an Austin breakdown. That is Mopac. That is
Oh, is it Mopac?
it's
Okay.
Mopac.
I was like, man, that looks like yeah. All right, cool. I yeah, like I said, for sure. Well, I want to think. Yeah, because I used to deliver on Metric and like Palmer
Farmer.
from yeah and all that, and I want to think that's where some of it was filmed. Like there was an apartment complex that I used to deliver to that that they used for the film.
Yeah, remember those areas back then were a lot easier to get to than it is nowadays.
Yeah,
Like Metric back then, even when I first got here, it wasn't very popular, and now it's popular because it's affordable. So, a lot
yeah,
of people.
and it's over there by the domain too, so it's
Yeah,
like
the
yeah,
domain wasn't there when that was made, so
exactly.
there wasn't so many people. So even at that was still crowded. I mean, Mopac, when you see how small it was, and you see just in the beginning scene of him going through it, you're like, wow, like
Yeah,
that's kind of crappy. Like I remember seeing that and being like, okay. And then they told me, I was like, that feels familiar. And they're like, yeah, because I was shot in Austin. I was like, oh wow, I'm gonna do more research on that. It was back then
yeah,
when it was a little bit harder. But I think I mean Office Space and this the end. That's kind of crazy. Like those are two kind of completely different movies, but comedies. This is the end. And since I post all my movie viewings on Facebook, I got more of the crowd I thought I was gonna get with that one, and it was more of the silly the silly friends of mine that like them. But I think
yeah.
the ones that you have to watch their movies like Pineapple Express, you have to watch 40-Year-Old Virgin, you have to watch Knocked Up. You have to watch those movies to get This Is the End. When you watch like
Yeah.
all like 7 or 8 movies that they've all made together collaboratively, and then you watch that. I mean, I love you, man. Is one of my number one movies, one of my favorite movies, and it
Mhm.
has characters from that movie in it. Paul Rudd, Jason Segel are in it because they all kind of recycle the same guys, so they all kind of do the same stuff. I love you, Sarah Marshall, all those kinds. So once you kind of when you get to watch This Is the End, and then you watch the characters and you see the way they're so out of it, they're playing like absurd versions. So I was watching the movie with my wife, and she hates that kind of stuff, but she watched it the whole thing, and she was like, "That's a ridiculous movie." And she goes, and she goes, but I recognize some of those characters are kind of dumb, like
Yeah.
the Danny McBride character she remembered from Tropic Thunder,
Oh,
that he's
yes.
but
Well, It's funny, man. I have a little. It's funny that you mentioned Pineapple Express. That's one that I went to go see in theaters. Actually, I went to go see it with my sister, who's quite a bit older than I am. She's 21 years older than I am, and so that was 2008. So I was 18, and so what's 21 plus 18? 30, 39. So she
Yeah.
was almost 40, and she thought it was stupid. She did not like that movie at all, and I enjoyed it because like it was right around the time Seth Rogen, Danny McBride, and hell, even James Franco were really kind of coming into their own as far as comedies go, and you know that was before I had experimented with anything like they do in Pineapple Express too. I was still a clear-minded individual back then. Uh,
Hence my coffee.
yeah, but like it's so funny. Like, remember watching that and not getting a lot of the references back then, or understanding why they were so goofy, and then watching it later after, like you said, life experience, and then you're like, that's a whole lot funnier now. Like it just
Yeah.
it rings it rings a lot truer once you kind of know what they're going through, especially that movie since it's so it has it's so weed centric, but
Yeah.
um shit, I just wanted to
Are you
throw
talking
that
about
out there
Pineapple?
too.
You watched the movie Pineapple Express with your sister, or this is the end?
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
Pineapple.
oh god, no, yeah. Pineapple
Okay,
Express.
yeah, okay. Sorry, I thought it was
Yeah,
this is the end. No, no, definitely.
so
Yeah, it'll get that crowd. I think I saw. No, I think I saw Year One, Pineapple Express, Bedazzled all by myself. I think I saw these movies
yeah.
alone. So I think it gets to the point where I just go and just zone out on my own. So
Mhm.
I mean when I saw it recently again, and I actually like This Is the End a little bit more than I should because one of my cousins likes it, and he always brings out good points about it to me. So I'm like, okay, so it gives me more points to like it. But to talk about the like just what I got from Year One and life experience kind of stuff. I don't really have more of that Jack Black character in me. I feel like I've done stuff like that where I've can kind of like fall forward into things, but I'm more of that Micah Cera character. So when I was seeing his kind of scenes and like he doesn't fight back until the end, and that's when he see his real growth. But I like seeing like he gets crapped on the whole time, and finally he's like had enough of it. It's like
Yeah.
you gotta get that. I mean, so I'm not surprised, but Year One on Rotten Tomatoes on the critics is a 14%. And
Really? I guess that, yeah.
remember,
But
I don't critics. I don't
yeah,
care. We don't with the boo critics.
no,
Boo.
yeah.
I'll be a critic one day, but not till then. I don't get like thumbs up. But
We won't
audience.
be giving 14%, that's for sure.
But I think also too, this is like somebody writes a bad review now, and then they go back and watch it and they hate it again, and then maybe they go through something and then they watch it and they're like, oh, I like it more now. So I always think the critic review should always be open to other generations because movies are forever, basically. But like audience scores of 23, which is still very low, but I think
Yeah.
that's 9 points higher than the critics. I out of a 13 for me on Year One. This definitely gets the Harold Ramis treatment. But I mean, now watching it again and watching it then like I did last time with more of an open mind, um, I'll say that I probably let's see, 13 is the best. So it's not the top tier, and I'll probably give this one. So it's gonna be like it'll be more of a 6, only because I'm being honest with it. Because I'll give it a 7, but my honest opinion, if I was gonna tell somebody else to watch it'd be a 6. But only because if you knew who Jack Black is, or you knew all the people in this movie, like this movie is really funny. Like you expect kind of what you expect, but you get a little different. But with it being so I'll give it a 6. I don't want to feel like I'm easy grading. I want to feel like I earned these movies. This movie could have easily been a 4 for me. Like easily been
Mhm.
like 3 if I didn't know who directed it, who wrote it. If I didn't know, and the reason I say that is because you really I kind of put my head in their space, and I think about the stuff I like. Okay, this is why it's in my face like this, or this is why this is a subtle joke, and this is why they talk about this. I see that it makes a big difference because I just think one of the one of the things about being a director is you gotta kind of you're giving people they're giving you your time so they can see through your eyes, and I know what eyes I'm looking through. So it's definitely for me it's a 7, but I'll give it a 6. What do you think?
All right, so year one, man, I'm giving a 10. I
Whoa.
know. And honestly, on my initial viewing, I probably would have been right there with you. I would have been right at 6 or 7. Um, but the reason I give it a 10, man, is just because it's my kind of humor. It really is. Like it's that kind of like those little quips and those little side jabs that Michael Cera gives. Those are it's almost like the soft spoken part of comedy. Where it's just like, yeah, well, oh, I can't even seriously. That's pretty much all his comedy is. Well, you know what, and then he just says something else. You know, that's what I love about it. Jack Black is hilarious. I like you said, I enjoy all the cameos. I um, for 2009, it's not going to be a hit movie, dude. If this movie was made in the 70s, it would have been a hit.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, it would have gotten all. It really would have been, and I think it was just honestly timing for this movie. If this had been, with some, if it had John Belushi or John Belushi and, oh hell, who could be
It would
Michael Cera back
it
then?
would have been Eddie Murphy or something like
Yeah, dude.
yeah.
Like if it would have, if it would have had like some people like that, but I mean, it would have
Or
been
even
something.
John
It would have been
Belushi
a
and Tom
classic.
Hanks, even John Belushi and Tom
Yeah.
Hanks in there would have. But okay, so I'm gonna do a little rebuttal because I'm gonna do a repeat rebuttal because you said something that hit and I rated it a little too hard. I'm gonna take my score back.
No,
You
you grade
no
you
no
you
no
grade
no no no
no,
no no no
because
no no
last week
because
I graded hard too.
no, but
Let's
you're right. No,
let's
but I gotta be fair though, and you're right because you say I gotta be fair. That I'm all about the fair system on this thing. I'll tell you this much because you said it's your kind of movie and this is my kind of movie, and I would compare this movie to Almost Heroes with Chris Farley and Matthew Perry. I would
mhm.
compare it right there with that Journey movie, and I would give that an 8. So I would give that an 8. I'll give this an 8. This is not a 6. Because 6 is right above average, but the reason
Yeah, go 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 go.
the reason I go with 8 is because you're right. Because I did laugh the whole damn time from this movie. This was funny. I was kind of thinking about that. I was more of a Harold Ramis fan because I am. I don't want to be biased,
Hmm.
but I'm not gonna lie. It's an 8 for me. I'm switching it to an 8.
Yeah.
You're right.
Okay.
This movie is right up my alley, and I laughed the whole damn. I mean, all the way from the beginning to the end. I laughed the whole time. The only reason I
Yep.
was kind of saying the 6 was because I was like,
Hmm.
well, it's a little bit average. It's not. It's good. It's. I'm trying to figure out my coding system, but I'll give it an 8. So what were you gonna say? Sorry.
Um. So no, I would. Man, I hate to keep on hitting on that Mel Brooks thing, man, but History of the World Part One is a. I mean, I own that movie on Blu-ray. It's fantastic. I love that movie. And so I feel like this is almost like if they had stayed, if they had just kind of like taken a little snippet of the beginning and like this is almost like a history of the world part half for me. Like that's how I kind of feel about this movie is like it's a part of that kind of genre where it's just like it takes all these concepts of the past and just really it critiques them and asks questions that you figure people would ask back then,
Yeah.
but were possibly too scared to ask, you know, for fear of persecution or whatever, you know.
I feel like since we're the tail end, I feel like oh man, I don't know. Can you hear my kid's crying? Can you hear me? Can you hear him?
Yeah, yeah,
You can hear. All
yeah,
right,
yeah.
he's crying
Just a
right now.
little bit.
He's supposed to be asleep. That boy. What do you call it? The I think, and I think just in general, the timeline in life and culture and pop culture and everything. I think in 2009, I think we're at the tail end. I think of religion where at that point, like it was more like, cause I remember being a kid and that was still a topic. That was still like, I'm not religious. I'm not Catholic. I was raised Baptist, but I'm not atheist. I'm nothing. Like I'm a person. So when back then, I remember there was judgment and people would tell you stuff, and it really does. Like I do have that you have that pressure on you. Even like I've even brought it up to the point where the conversation where I'll say like even dating, because you're not Catholic, girls won't date you, and you're like, well, we got a lot in common, or you know, I don't like certain things that they don't even really believe in. They don't really care for. They just pushed on them. So I could imagine like being like back, you know, in the 70s. In this, you're right. This movie came out in the 70s, and if I was told to go to church all the time, I always thought church was like something you had to do. Once I found out like you didn't have to go to church anymore. I mean, granted, my parents divorced, and I was like, you don't have to go to church anymore. I was like, oh, wait, there's perks to this divorce thing. I like this. It's like I like these. I like this. All right. So no more. I thought church was mandatory. I thought church was something you had to do every day. And I was like, this is gonna suck. But there probably had to have been a time where you did have to go to church every day, or someone would say, well, if you go to church more, I would buy more stuff from you, sir. Or, you know, back if you were to go to church, we would, you know, there's a position for you waiting if you were more of a church, you know, stuff like that. Man, church, like nowadays, it's its own different. There's always some kind of influence, but like year one, if you're right, if it came out in the 70s, it would kill. It would have like a 9 out of 10 because it hits up all the fine points. And also, I think in 2009, I think people were over religion in a way.
Yeah.
So I think when this came out, it probably was already like, we'll watch it. But I think you're right. If it would have been like 10 years earlier, 20 years or 30 years earlier, it would have just killed. And I think because you're right, and that's why I changed my score because it is a funny movie. It is very, 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 very funny. And for a 14 critic score on Rotten Tomato, that's some people that don't really get humor. And you're right, it's not supposed to be for everybody. And this is one of those, like, if you are a fan of Harold Ramis and you do like comedies and you do like his kind of comedies, because it does have Mel Brooks feel to it. It has Stripes feel to it. It has I mean the meatballs. It has a little bit of everything in there. I mean, just a smart ass. Like, you don't have a Rodney Dangerfield character in there, but you have a lot of smart ass undertones in there. And, you know, Caddyshack was definitely Rodney Dangerfield's, like, you know, like it was his like domain just to be a smart ass and just kind of go free. And then with this one, with year one, you just have this journey of these two not even called bumbling idiots, just people just questioning things. And, you know, but it is funny, like you said, like, oh, my house, oh my god, my house, oh, that's not mine. Like, it's always like that's just how people's minds were easily changed back then. Like, it just kind of, it's a glimpse. I mean, we don't know if it really was like that, but it is kind of like, you know, like, you know, don't circumcise me today, we'll do it later. Okay, we'll do, you know, like, it's just everything's kind of easily persuaded because there's a like, it's 50-50. It's either let's do this option that we don't know, or let's do this drastic gruesome thing and we know it's going to mess us up. So when life pulls a hard choice in front of you, it's like, just make a choice, even if it's the easy one. But yeah, I did like year one a lot. I'll say that it is funny. It is like almost Heroes kind of journey. It has the same kind of vibe. I like that one. But Dazzled here has a 49% critic score and a 42 audience score. But look at this, 114 count on the critics to 371,195 in the audience. So a lot more people watch this and the critics. So it says, though it has its funny moments, the remake is essentially a one joke movie with too many fat spots. Oh, I don't think so at all. Is it critics' conscience? No, I think this movie is. I'd give this one. So we go from a scale of 1 to 13. The 13 being like a perfect movie. I would even say like 11, 12, and 13 are going to be like your creme de la creme, your top movies. And I'll say the tier under that, which would be, I would even give 10. I'd give 10 a good score, but I'd go like 7, 8, 9, 10. And those, I say that's still like your B minus area, but you're still going to get a good movie, good quality, just something there. This one is hard for me because this one is just a great movie in general, like start to finish. But the way it hits every beat, the way it tells every story, the way you feel for the character, but you don't fall in love with him, but you're ready for him to move on. I don't think this is not flat at all. I don't know what critics said that. Man, I'm looking at like an 11 or 12 for me, man.
Okay.
Like, I'm really up there on this one. Also, I mean, there's so many things for me on this one. Nostalgia factor, the one I always start off with first. The San Francisco views are beautiful. The hot Elizabeth Hurley, you know, smoking. She's attractive, but the way she plays the character, she's not sexy in the way of like you think sexy is in your face. She's sexy just the way she is. Like, she's not having to put boobs and butt in your face. She's not like slutty. She's elegantly brilliant performance of a hot devil, but without.
it's almost like she's playing an innocent, but
Yes.
like I think that's another thing that makes
I
it
mean,
so.
even she
Yeah.
plays a schoolgirl for crying out. How much
Hmm.
like schoolgirl teacher innocent, but she does it.
Fun fact: that's actually her outfit.
Oh, dude, I follow her
Yeah.
on Instagram. I can't. It's she still looks good. So in 2020, and it's like she looks like it's 1992. But I mean, like, what with her, like, just that part, just the way you have a female lead that, like, a co-star or whatnot, but like she holds her own. She demands the camera without having to do much. She's every time she talks, you listen. Every time you see her, I even understand why Austin Powers, why Mike Myers gave her the lead for, in Austin Powers, because she just
Mhm.
has this sense of her and that character she made. So she's the devil, but not at one point do you ever feel demonic or gross or satanic. I mean, even the devil she chooses to expose is the goofy looking devil, so that's one thing. I think all I've gone through friendships like that with, like, Brendan Fraser's character went through, Elliot. So as I see that, that relates to me more. I can sink my teeth into that and understanding how that feels. Having being passionate in something that you do like and other people don't get, or maybe people do but they don't want to share it the same way you do. I feel that. So for this movie, man, I gotta say it's almost like a 13 for me, because I can really just I can. I mean, even just from the acting, they also, like, Brandon Fraser speaks Russian and he speaks Spanish, and his Spanish is pretty on point. It's decent, like, it's not bad. The worst ones are the henchmen. They speak the worst Spanish in the movie. Even Alison, she does a good Spanish, like a good that telenovela. She does a really good one. I'll say like, even that acting, the directing is amazing, the quality is amazing. They got a Lamborghini to go down, honking horns and stuff, like, at the middle of the night. Like, that shot is beautiful, just a pan with a car going off in the distance. Like, I gotta say, I'm gonna give this a 12, a hard 12. Um,
Or
uh,
12.
the hard 12. The only reason I don't give it a 13 is I don't know. I'm just giving it a 12. I don't want to. It's not a perfect movie for me at that point
Is
where
it because it's a comedy movie? Is that why?
probably. I mean, I'm a comedy
Yeah.
guy, but I think I'm not gonna give it a 13. Like, well, you know what? If okay, put it this way, if it falls in my top 10, does it assume it's a 13?
That's what I was gonna think, man. I
Yeah, I
mean, it's in
think.
your top 10.
Yeah, I'll give it a 13 then. No, I'll give it. It's in my top 10. It has to be, because my top 10 is gonna be all 30. It's gonna, like, my top 15 of
If you're gonna give it a hard 12, give it a 13.
yeah, just go
Why
with
not?
13. Yeah, I'm gonna give it 13. This to me is almost, so you'll find out the way I call a perfect movie. If the soundtrack, no, the soundtrack, the Gypsy Kings, no, this is a great movie. I would definitely give this a 13. This is a must watch. This is a definitely, like, okay, we're back at Nutty Professor and Norbit. Nutty Professor, must watch. Norbit, acquired taste. Here we are. Bedazzled, must watch. Year one, acquired taste, but it's a lot better than Norbit. But I'll tell you this,
Yeah.
but year one, if you grew up very religious, or you know a lot about religion, I would totally watch year one and see what your spoofs about it is. But let's hear what you
Yeah.
got to say. Come on, I want to hear what you guys say about Bedazzled.
Bedazzled. All right. 9. I'm giving it a 9. It is a great movie. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Am I gonna give it a 13? Me personally, no. I love Brendan Fraser too. I mean, I grew up on The Mummy. I grew up on Blast from the Past. I mean, School Ties. Like, he's a great actor. He really is, man. Um, I don't know. The reason for a 9 though, it wasn't that I wasn't laughing through the whole movie, and honestly, like I said, that shouldn't be the necessary judge of it. But I mean, hell, I may give it a 10 too. I don't know. It may be at least on par with year one, but I mean, it's a great movie. I can't deny that at all. Do I want to give it a 13? Is it in my top 10? No. Uh, but that's just me, man.
I'll say, I'll
I
say, I'll, I'll say we'll go to interrupt real quick. I'll say with
Yeah.
like, I will give it like, the more you're talking about, the more I'm thinking, the more, and you just said, like, the movies you compared, Brendan Fraser, I was like, oh man, I wouldn't even get started with those, man. I go even, like, way when he started. So I'm older, so I guess kind of
Were
just
you
by.
talking Encino Man?
Yeah,
Were
yeah,
you?
dude. You keep going. You gotta keep going. You gotta do Encino Man. You gotta do. I mean, you did say School Tides. There's a blast from the past. I mean, he's got so much. He's got so many movies that he did at like in such a small time. But I'll
Well,
say,
do you want me to go Monkey Bone? What else do you
oh,
want me
oh,
to
oh,
say?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You gotta really be no, but I'm a big. I guess the big Brendan Fraser fan thing. I mean, he's a good actor, dude. But I think the reason I'm making
Yeah,
this, and this is what I'm saying. With me, I'm not comparing the scores. I like your 10. The reason I got it to people listening, the reason I'm giving it a 13, we're gonna give it the CJ's seal of approval of. It's definitely falls in my bank of nostalgia. There's just the timing when I saw it, everything. But if you're gonna go by a realistic score, go with Ben's score. Mine is gonna be if it's that movie. Like some people like love Titanic. Like I
yeah,
think I think Titanic is a great movie. It's not the best movie, but it's a great movie. I love James Cameron. Jim Cameron is one of my favorite directors. But to be honest with you, when I see Titanic, I was like, oh, but I know some people that they love Titanic,
yeah.
and
I
they'll
mean,
give it a 10 out of 10. So I'd give it a 9, but I wouldn't give or like an 8, but I personally wouldn't like, but like vice versa. Like I love Terminator. I'll give Terminator a
yeah,
13. It's like
yeah. No, I mean, I'm right there with you. As far as Titanic goes, I mean, I had an ex where she said that she loved Titanic, and she's like, it's a classic. I said, yeah, it's a classic piece of shit. But and she just thought that was she really thought that was funny. But that's like you said, it's all based on how that movie makes you feel. I mean, one of my whenever people ask me my favorite movie, and honestly, I haven't done a list of my top 10, but I always say it's in between Jurassic Park and Tombstone. I would say those are going to be right up there with my two favorite movies. I mean, Jurassic Park just has that. Like I said, I watched that so many times as a kid that like you watch it and just like it brings back all those feelings. It's like you're a kid again. And Tombstone, that was one of my family's favorite movies growing up, and so we would watch it a lot. And that it was a cool movie, man. Like I didn't understand a lot of that stuff. Not that I didn't understand it, but just like I didn't get a lot of that movie growing up. Like just how he's like, oh, I'm your Huckleberry.
I'm your
Like
Huckleberry.
it had a lot of those quotable lines like, "Ooh, Johnny Ringo looks like he just seen a ghost," you know, and it's a nice fluid movie. It's a cool movie. For me, it's almost like that badass movie. Like, yeah, look at those guys with their mustaches just shooting everybody up. He had the last straw. The
uh,
last straw was broken. So that's yeah. I mean, it's all subjective, really. Whenever you're coming down to your top 10 or really your favorite movies.
but you know what I like about that though? Like I said, I'm gonna have like 10 or whatever 10 13s. So for then those 10, this is how I'm doing it. So basically I've been watching movies and then just checking it on Facebook and then on my IMDb and just kind of following where I'm going, what I'm doing with this. I think I'm like 43 movies now, but I started this months ago. So as I'm watching them all, I'm like, you know what, this is how I'm going to be able to tell what I like or what I don't like. So if I have my top 13s, once I get those top 13, which I know, like I think I'm pretty solid on these top 10 movies, then I got to go and reorder them, and there's going to be a different ranking system. And at that ranking system for those, it's going to be because I love Nutty Professor, I love Norbit, but they're not my top 10, so I'm not gonna biasly watch them. I'm gonna watch them for what they are. My
Mhm.
top 10 movies definitely are going to be more my personality. So like I said earlier, at the other podcast, I have 3 number 1s. And the only reason I have 3 number 1s is just there's movies that my number one, I could have said that the 1986 Transformers, the movie, that would have been my number 1 for all time until I started growing up. And then as I got older, I realized there's 2 other movies that I just can watch nonstop. And it's funny because we talked about the comedy, the 12 to 13, because it's not comedy. Well, Harold and Kumar, the first one, and actually I like that's one of my favorite movies, and I Love You Man. But also because those were best friend movies, and I used to have a friendship like that. And then when you guys grow up, you grow apart. You lose, so then you kind of watch those movies. And you're like, damn, those are friends. Like that to me. So those are kind of why those are my favorite movies. The Transformer one, I think it's more of a that's definitely a nostalgia. But I can break that movie down and how it to me it's a perfect movie, and I can
Yeah.
easily break down how why it's a perfect movie on both aspects, on the emotional psychological part of the movie, and also the portion of the making the movie and how they got to it. And there's a documentary, and it's just like you just love more and more about your craft or the thing that helped you out. One of my favorite things that I got to do last year was go to I don't want to mess it up, but it was a Comic-Con they had at the Cedar Park Center, and Michael
Mhm.
Biehn was there, and I got to talk to him. Dude, I got to talk to him for. He's one of my favorite actors, so I got to talk to him for a minute. I mean, it
You
was
got to
like,
talk to Kyle Reese.
oh, I got to talk to Hal Reese.
You got to talk to Johnny Ringo.
I kind of threw him
Oh my God.
I kind of threw him a curveball, but at the end, because we talked about his performance. Okay, so here's some acting advice. So basically, what he told me was, I had told him, how did you know? Like, you talked about that part where he goes, where um, Wyatt Earp, I mean, that Johnny Ringo tells Wyatt Earp, meet me at that spot, and then and Doc Holliday shows up, and then you see it in his face, like Johnny Ringo is like, he knows he's dead, like he knows he did, but then at the same time he's like, I'm not dead, I'm Johnny Ringo, I'm articulate, I'm smart. I got, so then he starts showing his like, well, fuck you, man, come on, dude. He starts showing that, he starts puffing up, and then it's like a crazy part. And I was asking Michael Biehn, like, how did you, because this guy just gets shot, so it's not like he just gets shot and then he dies. So he is this, as a character, he's building up this momentum in the scene. Like, how did you know to do that? Or how do you build that scene up? How do you really get to like do that? And then he told me, oh, you're getting ahead of the script. He goes, what's going on is because the way I didn't explain, I explained it a little bit better than I did. I go, but I go, how did you know to do that? And he goes, well, if you get ahead of the script, like you, the person, know where the character is going, but the character in the movie doesn't know where it's going. So he thinks
Oh,
he's gonna win the fight. Johnny Ringo thinks he's gonna win the fight, and they have it where like it's built up to he might win it. You get the feeling where like, oh, this Doc Holliday is dying. He's really sick, and you get that feeling of like he's not gonna be able to be quicker than him. But then he kills him, boom, and then you go from like the all that build up to us to tell him getting shot in the head and then dying, and then and then Doc Holliday talking shit to him. But I asked him like, how did you really able to capture that? He goes, I just stayed with the script. I stayed in that moment in that scene till it was shot. Then I moved on. I was like, oh, I never thought about
it's really,
that.
it's
That was
really good writing helps a good actor. Is
that's
what you're
funny.
getting at.
That is funny. That's exactly what he said. That's
Huh?
exactly what he said. He says,
Huh?
he goes, I just followed the writing. He's like, he's a good writing, helped me out with that one. So I ended up buying the script for Aliens instead of Tombstone. He had him there. He had the original script. So I bought Aliens because I have a Aliens kind of memorabilia thing going. So I was like, I'll
Hmm.
just match it with mine. But he was like, you don't want this Tombstone one? I was like, well, I'm more of an Aliens guy, but I get what you're saying about Tombstone. It is, I would want to say close. It's probably one of those perfect movies I was talking about. A movie that, when I
Yeah.
say perfect movie, it's a movie that you just watch that you don't need to know anything about. You watch it from the beginning to the end. You're hooked in kind of when it ends. You don't want it to end, but you're okay with it ending. The score is good. The music's good. The acting's great. The film looks good. It teleports you out of where you're at to into the world of the movie. That's what I think. A Tombstone is definitely one of those movies. Even like I get it confused with Wyatt Earp. They're very similar, but Wyatt
Yeah.
Earp,
Well, they were made around the same time
same
too.
time, and Wyatt
Yeah.
Wyatt Earp isn't as dark as Tombstone. Even
Yeah.
though they have the more of those death scenes, but like, I mean, even when Bill Paxton gets shot, like it's like it's just they're just shooting pool, you know. So
Yeah.
it does get you there.
Kurt Russell grew that mustache, so maybe that's how you can tell it apart from next time. I don't know whether Kevin Costner did,
That's
um,
true.
but yeah, that is uh, all of Kurt Russell right there
That's all,
coming out of that
man.
mustache. Sam Elliott as well, I'm sure. I think that man has a perfect mustache at all times. It
I
seems
think
like.
I think Sam Elliott has a mustache on his like baby pictures, dude. This guy like
Oh
he's had
man,
a
I mean, yeah,
he's got that
there's a good
awesome
chance.
stash. Yeah, he's. I mean, I'm hating because I can't have a stash like him, but
Oh
apparently
man, dude, I had the handlebars there for a minute, and
you're getting kind of burly there, man. Looking good.
I'm I'm telling you, it's with this whole mask thing, even working, retail and everything. I can, yeah. I mean, I can cover it up pretty good. You know, they got beard nets and everything like
The
that.
beard
So why
nets,
not?
man. Why not, dude?
Oh man,
They're
that's what I'm
thinking
saying.
they're thinking about your beard. They're not telling you you have to shave. They're telling you wear this, and you can keep the beard. That's pretty cool.
Exactly. Yeah.
Um, I'll say this about Tombstone. Val Kilmer's in it, and I've heard that he was a pain in the ass on sets. They
Oh, no doubt.
even to the point where he says in interviews that he wishes he wasn't so hard to work with. He would have got more roles. He was a prima donna. But man, this Doc Holliday character, if he had to be a prima donna to create that, I mean, it confuses me, dude.
So
It really does. Like if I had to direct that, or I had to produce something, and I had to deal with a loose cannon like that, but the performance you bring,
mm,
man, it's I don't know how to do it, man. I'd be like, no, let me just lose my insanity with you. Let's go down this freaking rabbit hole because I don't know how to direct someone like that yet. I haven't had anybody like that. And if anything, the way I see it right now is like if I'm the only prima donna on my set, and that's the best. That's a good set for me.
yeah.
But like, man, he's good. He's does a great job in this movie. Um, man, we have
He'd probably he. Oh, sorry. He'd probably just gotten cast as like Batman at that time, right? Or is
uh,
that a little bit later?
Well, Tombstone is
90,
93. Batman is what,
93.
96, something like that before, right?
Oh, was it? I think that was George Clooney Batman.
No, then this is 94 then. Yeah, then it's 94.
Yeah, so I bet you he was working on that around the same time. He might have had a head about him. Top Gun, you know. Oh, but and you have Kurt Russell in the thing.
Oh, Batman Forever is 95. So
Well, okay,
yeah, you're
yeah.
right.
So
You're
that was a
right.
couple years.
Right behind each. Right. 2 years. Right behind it. You're right. And
Yeah,
I mean, Tombstone gets a 7.8 on IMDb, which I think that's like it's hard to get a high score on Tombstone on IMDb. That's good.
especially for a western. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, like it's a solid movie. Um, like you, I think you're about to say we're cutting it pretty close.
Well,
I can go over a few minutes.
well,
But
I was gonna say I can talk. I know it's a you. I want to see how you're doing. I would like to
yeah,
I would like to segue into another topic, but if not, we can wait and pick it up for next time.
no. If anything, man, I would like to segue into the next films that we want to do that we want to watch for this week.
What are you thinking?
I don't know. We have a lot of choices. I really like going into these movies with the whole like conspiracy theory
All
thing.
right, let's do it.
I thought that was a lot of fun, but I think if we change it up a little bit too, that's um, yeah, that's not a bad thing either. I really, like I said, we just honestly we're just discussing these movies. Like it's just that little tick, that little one little thing that we can kind of, you know, oh, this is what we think about this, and then we can just keep on because I love what we're doing here. I really do. I think it's great. I thoroughly enjoy it. But yeah, I mean, if we want to keep going down that rabbit hole, no
Well,
problem.
I mean, I just say whatever we want. I think the fact is just us being able to just talk about something and people listen and then this is how they got to where they got. So
Yeah,
later on when we have 10 episodes up, they're gonna be like, oh, this episode they spoke about this, and then the episode 2 they spoke about this. Like, how do they? They just go and talk, and this is what they have a passion for movies so much that we can really like. I have half a mind to say Tombstone and White Earp comparison, but to me with those two I don't know, we could do that. I'm like, what else? Well, you know what, let's put them in the pot real quick. That's an idea.
yep.
Let's see what else we
Teams.
can, because I was thinking we can do stuff by directors, by actors.
You know, I was going to say that too. I mean, we could do. You know, I really liked having two Harold Ramis movies. You
Yeah.
know, two that were similar but not really. You know, like Bedazzled was it was a different kind of comedy than Year One. It really was. Um, you know, and I think I don't know whether that had to do with the casting or what it was. Because I mean, Brendan Fraser. I mean, yeah, he's a funny man, but he's not. I know Brendan Fraser's one of your dudes, but not to be offensive. I mean, he's no Jack Black. You know.
Oh no, well you're comparing my dude to my other dude, so my dudes are okay. It's yeah. I mean, I'm one of those people. Oh, remember, I'm from the thick skin family, so I don't get offended. I stick with my opinions though, my views. I mean, but yeah, no. When, like I said, my dude to my other dude comparison, I'm fine.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. No. But I like that. You know, it was cool. You know, like I said, they were both comedies, but just totally different tones. Even though like it was dealing with pretty much not the same topic, but just like that whole religious point. You know, I think we
Yeah.
really had we had two really good movies that I think we just kind of stumbled into them. You
Yeah.
know, uh, and I think it was a really good side by side. Honestly, like
Yeah.
it really was. Um, Tombstone White Earp, I like that.
Did,
Um,
what else you thinking? I mean, we can. I mean, there's a lot of like just by you
there's
can just by those movies right there, you can also think about the actors that are in those movies, and if you want to go into kind of go on to other characters that they've done or other movies that they've done, or I mean, we just
or
what
we
kind of.
could do Michael Biehn and s- choose a couple of his movies.
I mean, do you dare you do you already want to jump into Terminator? Do you already want to
We
go that
could,
route?
man.
Do
We
you
can. I
just want
mean, oh, we
to?
can do Terminator and Tombstone, man. I mean, there's a
Then we kind of side
side
by
by side.
side. I mean,
The only thing with Tombstone, I mean, it'd be hard to kind of get a conspiracy theory out of that one. Like I said, we don't have to go down that route, but I
oh
mean,
man. Okay,
um,
put it this way: if you watch a movie and it brings up an idea of a conspiracy, or maybe how did they get here for you, and you want to sink your teeth into that, you can
I
go that
like
route.
that.
Or if you
Okay.
also, I also see movies as a glimpse in someone's day sometimes. So if you have an idea of like, like in Bedazzled, Elliot Richards, he's actually dying. He's not dead yet. He's in purgatory. You know,
Ooh,
so
I like that even better.
something like that. Like, did you
It's
think
like
like if
Monkey Bone, like he's in a
Yeah,
coma or
it's a
something.
coma. Yeah. So does it? Oh, see, you can even connect that. Like those movies, kind of the same actor or Chris Kattan character is ridiculous in that movie.
Yeah.
But I'll say like just anything, anything we want to do. Like this is our show, so people are just in for the ride. So if you want to compare
Yeah.
it, but I mean,
Okay.
I have ideas. I mean, I'm just looking down at my movies here that I have that are like a kind of like a wall of movies. Oh man, how about okay. I got one, and this
Okay.
is gonna come out of car. So we brought up Wyatt Earp at Tombstone. I don't know how you feel about this director slash actor, but I really like his movies. John Farvu.
Oh, dude, are you kidding me? I I love the MCU, and he is pretty much the godfather of that, if not something better. You know,
Do you want to do his earlier work?
you want to do like PC,
Oh,
what is
dude,
it?
PCU,
PCU?
dude,
Yeah.
dude, are you?
Okay, that's a good one. And let's see, what's another? I mean, was he in Rudy? Or am I crazy?
He might.
I,
I know. What's his name? Tall dude.
Vince Vaughn
Vince
one.
Vaughn's in
Vince
it.
Vaughn.
I don't know. Let me bring his IMDb real quick because that would be a lot easier for me to kind of just kind
And
of.
he's a great director too. I mean, The Mandalorian. Ah, dude, yes. Ah,
We could pick it. The only reason I'm picking him up because I have PCU, but I was gonna say that movie is kind of hard to find because I think it's the powers that be that censor things. I had to buy that movie with another movie, like
really?
as one of those
Yeah, he was in Rudy. He was D-Bob,
yeah, he's in
whoever
Root.
that
Okay,
was.
yeah.
Okay.
You know what, dude?
Uh,
You know what? I'll tell you this. Chef, have you seen Chef?
oh, yes. And he has like a Netflix special. It's like he
Yeah.
goes through and does all that. I think it's like, yeah, he really liked that whole thing a lot and he just kept going with it. Let's see. As
So,
an actor, Dog
do you want
Town,
to?
Deep
Yeah.
Impact,
Do you want to do his acting?
Hercules. Oh, that's a TV series. Never mind.
Man,
Sorry.
you know what? I'm all over the place. So I'm gonna see if you can if you want
Who the
to if you
Replacements? He was in that.
do
That's
do
like
you
an early.
do you want to do his acting or do you want to do because in those he's more of a co-star because he's more of a helping role. You know, he's not a main character. I would like to do something where he's like,
Okay,
I mean, PCU.
interesting.
I think what did he do with PCU? I think he was more than just a no
He was a side character. It was David Spade and
Jeremy Piven.
Jeremy Piven.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, so we had
let's see
swingers.
here. Have you ever heard of a movie called Made?
Yes. Okay, that's what I was gonna say. We can do
I have not seen that. I
dude.
have not seen that.
Okay, so let's do this, and this is a
And
good
he
side by side.
directed that too. Sorry.
Exactly. So I have a good side by side right here, and if you haven't seen that movie, because I haven't seen these ones in a while, but We have to watch.
He directed Cowboys and Aliens.
Yes, yeah, no, that's when he started getting his more of his sci-fi in. But check this out. He did
Okay.
Swingers, and that
Uh-huh.
is a early take of being a like a kind of a entertainer, kind of like in the '90s in Hollywood. And it's him and Vince Vaughn, and they're playing the kind of like the same characters that they're playing in Made. Have you ever seen Swingers or Made? You haven't seen Made, right?
I don't think I've seen Swingers either.
If you, I will say, if we, I brought him up because I was looking down and I saw PCU and I was like, well, John Farber is a good one. I don't mind doing a Wyatt Earp and Tombstone, but I think a Maid and a Swingers comparison would be good because
Let's do it.
they're
I
both.
like that. And those are two movies that I'm coming in fresh on, man.
Oh, that's
Like,
good. That's good. And so that's even better because that means that you're totally not biased on the fact that you haven't seen like that. Like I'm gonna tell people like that nostalgia factor is gonna really take over you whenever you make a decision because you will actually be like, do I want to watch this new movie, invest, or do I just want to watch something that I really know I'll enjoy, and something I remember from a time when I was younger or something. And I it always gets me. But I'll say that Swingers, man, I remember Swingers was just not ahead of its time. It was just a movie that kind of talked about the time, and I remember being like, man, that's kind of cool being a like younger guy and watching that movie and being like, man, it's kind of that's what the future is gonna look for. I mean, it's kind of like that, you know. But like
yeah.
these two movies, and I don't want to talk about them anymore. I'll just let you, I'll
Okay.
let you watch these. But I mean, right now, so Swinger Made is from 2001, is directed and written by John Favreau, and it is on the Cinemax. And then the other one,
He's on
Swingers,
Showtime.
it's on Showtime. So they're available.
Yeah. And let's see. I think it was
Like
it 96?
96, yeah.
Yeah.
So they're both available, yeah, on Showtime. So we have access to these. And before we disconnect, I would just like, oh well, look at this. This one got a 7.2 out of 10,
Mm-hmm.
and Made
On
got
Swingers.
Swingers, and Made got a. Let's see what Made got. I lost it. I had it right here.
6.4.
So
I have
okay,
6.4.
okay, okay. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see about that because we'll see how it comes. I did want to. I'll share this with you before we log out. So this 3 weeks ago, starting 3 weeks ago, I signed up for accounting class on Saturdays and online school because I was like, I'm gonna learn bookkeeping and just kind of help, kind of look for another job and kind of do something I can do on the side. Since we're all kind of stuck at home, I was like, I can get this job. I like numbers, but I don't love them. But I can deal with. I used to work at a bank when I was younger. That was my mindset. And then I started taking the classes and going to school during the epidemic with a kid, and then trying to do your podcast and do things that you enjoy. You have to make a decision. So I chose to drop the classes because it was so much easier for me to just do this and just to kind of be like, dude, you know what? I've already been doing this for a long time, playing games with myself and trying to figure out like, all right, what's good for me? What should I do? And I'm like, you know what? The best part about all this is I want to do what I want to do, and
Yeah.
if I'm gonna talk to my buddy with a green screen behind my back on a computer about movies that we like and enjoy and we want to appreciate and have other people appreciate these movies. Because wait till we get to Adam Sandler. If you guys think I'm being easily grading right now with Bedazzle, wait till you get to Adam Sandler. They're all gonna be 13s for me. So like good luck. But what I'm trying to say is like I enjoy this, so I like that you're putting the time into it with me and we're practicing because it's getting easier. The more you practice, the easier we are. As people are listening to us, hopefully they'll learn or just enjoy, appreciate what we have. And you know what? I would like for someone to watch a movie and then come and tell me like, dude, that is not a 13. That is a strong 12. It was a hard 12, but not a 13. No, but I appreciate it. I think that's cool. I think that we're exploring movies. I never thought that I could really explore movies. I like how you did come up with that. You're saying like let's kind of see where some theories are because there are a lot of movies. Like I said, I feel like they're a glimpse of people's lives. So I feel like that's
Yeah.
just like a moment that the character still lives on. Like I always think about like the happy ever after movies. Like really, that's the point where they met. Like they haven't been lived with each other. They haven't had the relatives over. They don't even know if they can sleep in the same bed. Like can they even like was one snore? Does one fart? Is the Sleeping Beauty really gonna sleep all day? Like it's just like you start thinking. I start thinking about stupid things like that. But it's like, okay, we can. I like doing that. The ones that I thought about with the Con Air one was because it's just silly to me. Because I just think that's like, I like how to stuff that I think people really not thinking about. But I like that you're saying that Michael Cera's character and Adam are related because they're both like smart and they're
Yeah.
just kind of but I like the fact that Jack Black's character is more of the O character is the thinker and the Jack Black character is the doer without thinking. So it's kind of you get the combination of both, which is kind of cool. But and that's what I like. I like that we can talk about movies. We can come over here and this is a hobby that we can turn into something or if not. I just enjoy doing it. I like for my son to see these, but also for the movies that he can watch them. But yeah, I think we're good. But we're gonna do Maid and Swingers for the next episode. That I know if anybody's listening and watching, and we kind of pulled those movies out of nowhere. This is what we do on this channel. We just watch movies and we compare them. There's no agenda. We're just talking about movies. We're kind of tightening it up a little bit on the time so we can kind of get in, get out, and get more going. But just hang in there. We got more episodes coming up. This is awesome.
Yeah. I'm enjoying it, man. This is great. Thank you so much too. Like I want to give all the props out to CJ because I literally like texted him one day and he was like, "Let's do it." And he had everything ready. Like I'm over here, with my iPod propped up on my TV, and he's got the mic, he's got the green screen. I mean, he's the man.
Yeah.
Look at him go. For real though, like you've got the graphics down. It's impressive. Like it's like I'm so happy that like I wouldn't know what to do. I mean, you came out of nowhere. Like I came out of nowhere to you with just an idea, and man, you were ready, and that's awesome. Like, I love it.
Thank you. Like I just said though, but like I said, like this has also been we've met each other in acting class, so this is kind of cool that we've been able to spin that off into something else. Kind of like a good relationship after class, walk around, talk, and just kind of chill for a little bit. I always thought that was kind of cool to get to know somebody. But I'll tell you this much, man. Like I said, like I've had the pieces to the car. I just need somebody to cruise with me, brother. And I think that's cool that you do it. And we got, and like I said, I got Alex. So whenever you want to do one of the improv podcasts with us three, like we get into it. Like we do some scenes and it's getting fun. We're learning. We're figuring. See the same technique here. I'm figuring out with there. Just keep doing it, and but like I said, it's not hard to collect this over time. But I do want to play, and I do like having fun, and I see that you're wearing the Thunder Buddy shirt, so I had to do the Pizza Planet, throw a little shout out because he got me with the RoboCop last week. That was a sick ass RoboCop shirt, so I gotta step my game up.
You're gonna start seeing the shirts getting recycled after a while. I don't have to. I have a lot of Star Wars shirts. Oh my gosh. Kenya has set me up with those, man. She gets me like a Star Wars shirt like every 3 months. I love it.
Hey man, you got to represent what you got, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do because I had a black shirt on. I was like, nah, I can't do the black shirt on. I gotta represent something, and I was like, here, Pizza Planet. We all like Pizza Planet. Pizza Planet. But no, I appreciate it, dude. And a lot of people are like these two guys all liking each other. Yeah, that's what you do. You like each other, so you can work with each other.
By God.
Yeah, and yeah.
So that's a great theme for right now. I mean, that's
yeah, we're also actors, so we could help anybody out in their movies and stuff. So see what we do. But yeah, we're gonna log off now. So this week was Side by Side. We were doing Bedazzled and Year One, two Harold Ramis movies that we both appreciate. And as you get to know more or less our personalities, you'll see what movies we lean a little bit more towards. But we both enjoy the movies that we saw. We're going to next week. We're doing John Favreau. We're doing Maid and Swingers. I'm looking forward to this one because I started watching Chef this morning. Just like I said, I just ended up putting movies on. That movie is beautiful on just the art, the way he learns to make food, the way he shows it, the way I learned a lot from him, the way he's a filmmaker. But we can talk about that next week. But man, that's a good movie.
Yeah, and I'm excited too because, like I said, these are two movies that I'm coming in fresh on. So it's going to be really kind of different for me this week. Not really having any background, so I feel like I'll really have to take notes on these and get a good feeling for them. Maybe watch them a couple times rather than just once.
The only thing I'm going to say is this is going to be awesome because John Favreau wrote, directed, and starred in these movies. So yeah. You're going to see what going for a hat trick looks like and successfully getting it. Now, I'll do a little bit more research on these movies since I've seen them a few times, and see what it took. So maybe I can inform some people next time. We can have a little briefing before we give people a little bit more background. Because right now I feel as if we're talking about movies that we enjoy, but we'll give you a little bit more why we enjoy them. I guess I don't know. Everything's off the top of my head, but yeah. I mean, I got nothing else. I'm good.
All right, man. Well, hey, thank you everybody who's listening. Appreciate it.
All right. See y'all later. See you next week. Peace.